What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cool Fred's Garage. This Cool Fred here back with some more content on this 73 Impala. So I'm gonna show you guys what I got going on. All right, so this is my 1973 Chevy Impala. So I'm about to check out some parts that I got for it. But so I have an upgraded fuel tank for this vehicle. And I'm pretty much just gonna unbox the tank, see what kind of parts I need and stuff like that, and then I guess I'll talk about a little bit of, because this car is fuel injected. I have a FiTech throttle body fuel injection system on here that I've had on here since 2017, and it runs and works pretty good. And I have a modified fuel pump inside the tank of this vehicle. So it's a newer factory tank that I put on here. It was new at the time, back in 2017. All right, so that's the fuel tank that's on the car right now. So it's basically a reproduction factory style. I think it's a Spectra Premium. So there's nothing in particular wrong with the fuel tank. It's just the way I have it set up right now. I got a Hyperfuel universal fuel pump in there. So the setup works good. Don't really have that much of a problem with it. It's just because this is not an EFI gas tank. When the gas gets to a certain, let's say when I get around 1/8 of a tank and I take certain turns, it doesn't happen all the time, but once the gas gets kind of low around like 1/8 of a tank, if I take certain turns, I can lose power. And in one case, the car did stall with me. You know, I had to start it back up, but other than that, the setup works good. But I decided that I want to put a better gas tank in the car with a fuel pump system. So I'm gonna show you guys that setup. Now, when I get this tank out of the car, I am gonna talk about how I had this setup set up, and I will talk about some of the issues I ran into and what I did to correct that. So this would be probably some helpful stuff for people that's got fuel injection in a older classic car, no matter what kind of car it is. All right, so I'm about to get in here and cold start this thing for the morning. I did have it running yesterday, because I was doing some work around the house, so I pulled it out of the garage for a little bit, and we'll go see if it starts. Now, I mentioned that this is video pretty much on the fuel tank, but I'm gonna have several other videos of me talking about just improving some of the other things. So this car does need a battery. I am going to upgrade the alternator and do some other things like that. So I'll touch on some of that stuff in some of the other videos. But I should have enough juice in here to get it started. Because what I've been doing is I've been keeping it on the trickle charger. So right now you can hear the fuel pump that I have in the tank. You can hear that running. And sometimes I'll cycle it twice. Right there, probably got too much fuel. It probably would have cranked that first time, but so right now, I probably got too much fuel in it. All right, so It seemed like it struggled to crank. That's probably because I, you know, like the first time I should have just went on and cranked it instead of cycling the key. But a lot of times when I turn it over, it started right on up, no matter how cold it is. Sometimes if it's real cold, it may stumble just a little bit, but it go ahead and start right on up. I generally don't have a problem cold starting. So I'll probably just let it run just for a little bit and let it settle down. But to be honest with you, like, I've been real happy with the fuel injection system. So this is the Phytech system, the throttle body. I think it's the Go 4 EFI. So I think this one's good up to 600 horsepower. But once you kind of get it set up and calibrated and all that stuff, it's a real good system. It got real good street manners and stuff like that. It's responsive and things like that. So I like it. But I've had it since 2017. But the issues I have had with the fuel injection system itself I'm gonna point that out in one of my videos when I take the tank out, because it's got something to do with the fuel pump and the fuel hose. But everything else, you know what I'm saying, as far as the system itself, has been rock solid. Now sometimes you do run into a situation. I think when I had the engine out in 2018, when I put it back, I had to do like a few calibrations and stuff like that to kind of, but other than that, like once you get it set up kind of how you want it, and there's some other tuning and stuff that you can do to it too. I actually got to find a place to mount this, because this right here, I had the suction cup thing that they have with it, but I need to build me a mount for this handheld. Right now I just kind of got it sitting right there, but this tells you a lot of the engine vitals and stuff like that regarding the fuel injection system. So alright, so the main reason I need to move the car out of the way is just to so I can just have room. So this right here, the fuel tank, and this right here is from Chevyboyzinc down in Florida. So I actually been following their work and their page as far as, you know, these fuel tanks, probably for over 4 years. And I was finally able to get one during the holidays. I was able to snatch me a tank. So so I found out about these guys was from another place around the greater Atlanta area called Squat Yard. So I had some questions kind of regarding my 26s and some stuff like that. So I had some issues with some of the tires I was running early on, and they kind of put me on game to the correct size tires and some other stuff like that. But and I got to talking to them about some things I can do to modify my existing fuel tank. And they recommended me to guys that specialize in fuel tanks for these particular cars right here. These 1971 to 76 Impala Caprice. So that's what this fuel tank right here is for. So I'm about to snatch it out of here and I'm gonna unbox it. All right, so the reason I kind of, you know, I kind of stopped to take time to kind of talk about other businesses and other places is because, you know, a lot of this stuff, when you're working on classic cars and old school, is more about networking and finding out where you can get stuff from in a lot of cases. And, you know, And even when you're able to call somebody and talk to them on the phone, in the case, you know, of Squat Yard, they help me out. If I ever need like an alignment or something like that. But I also work at a shop too, so I got access to certain things. But if I didn't, you know, I still want to swing by their business and show support, because, you know, talking to me on, taking time talking to me on the phone about a few things, you know, that's kind of, that's a big deal. So that's why, like, you know, if I run into an issue or something, I kind of show like what I did to correct whatever problem I had and things like that. So I try to, now, I mean, it's some secrets and things that I may not talk about or explore, but if it's anything in general that can help out, you know what I'm saying, anybody, um, I'm down to do that. So I'm about to get this thing unboxed and basically inspect it. So I pretty much already, because I know I ordered it with the EFI fuel pump and things like that. So I kind of opened the box enough to where I can see to make sure that, you know, I got what I was supposed to be getting, but I just didn't have time. I want to say I've had this thing now for like about a month, probably a month and probably about 6 weeks. So just now getting to get it out of the box. So the main goal right now is just to open the box, check it out, and all right, so I got the fuel tank unwrapped, and this is what we got. So, so this right here is who makes the fuel tanks and who sells them. So you can get in contact with them right there. We also got some more information right here. So shout out to these guys right here, man, because this right here is a awesome product. It's real nice and smooth, got nice welds on it. It has a GM90 ohm fuel sending unit. So, and I chose to get it with the Aeromotive fuel pump. So this is the Stealth. I think it's like a 340 liter per hour, something like that. Fuel pump. So this right here, I think is good up between, I think, 650 horsepower. So that's perfect for what I need. You got these two. These are like vent holes if you need them, because this tank right here is designed for both carbureted and fuel injected. So even if you didn't get the in-tank fuel pump, I prefer that because I think they run quieter. I like it because it's quieter, but a lot of guys do run the external pump. So I'm gonna set this thing up and we'll be able to see the sump that they have for it. All right, so if you're running a carbureted setup or external fuel pump, you'll use this lower connection right here at this sump. So this fuel tank right here is pretty universal. So it's perfect for anything from a carbureted setup, a throttle body EFI, or a LS setup. So it's pretty much you got like a lot of flexibility with it, and then this also gives you the room to upgrade. Like, you know, if you wanna go from one setup to another one. Like if you're gonna be doing, let's say you got your stock engine in, and then later on you plan on doing a LS or doing a, you know, a Holly Sniper or a Phytech setup like I got, you know, it's flexible. So that's the other thing. It's universal and flexible at the same time. So just checking it out, I'm real impressed by, you know, the kind of the way it's set up. I can tell they put a lot of engineering and stuff into it. I want to say I talked to him a couple times, you know, just to ask a few questions, and he was like, you know, they've been building tanks for over 10 years. So, but it's got a lot of good quality into it. So I like how, you know, versus like the newer, you know, the stock fuel tank. I like that it has this kind of this angle here to kind of force your gas to go, you know, back kind of to this area or to the lower area. So they had a fuel sending unit there. Fuel fuel pump is right there, kind of in the middle, but they also have it sectioned off, like it's got some nice baffling in there and things like that. So I really like that. All right, I'm checking this thing out with my bore scope. I kind of do that with a lot of fuel tanks. Back when my brother had his 1978 Pontiac Trans Am, you know, he was thinking about going fuel injection. He bought a Tanks Inc. tank, and so basically, you know, I'll look inside the fuel tanks just to see kind of, you know, how they're constructed and things like that, though. But I'm very impressed in here, like just the way they got, you know, their baffling and how everything is kind of like set up. Like I can tell that this is going to work for my setup. So I'm just taking kind of quick look in there. So the fuel sending unit is over here, and it's kind of it's in pretty much its own area right here. So it's not interfering with anything else. And so so far I'm impressed with everything. And pretty much between, and this is kind of why, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of go to a setup like this. So this is like a performance fuel tank, so it's able to offer a lot of advantages over like the tank that I have in my car now. And I'm gonna point a few things out on the fuel tank, on the stock style fuel tank, in the way and what I did to modify it. But I would have had to modify it even further, and it was just gonna be expensive for like me to get somebody, because they would have to cut it open and add some baffling and some things to it, and I would have to relocate some components to make it be, you know, what it's supposed to be. So this right here is kind of, you know, this tank, it does cost some money, especially if you do elect to get the Aeromotive fuel tank. You know what I'm saying? It is, but I think in the long run, it's gonna be better for me, and plus I'm able to get up and running sooner. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm looking at it from a standpoint like that versus trying to do some trial and error type stuff. You know, I'm just gonna, you know, put this in and enjoy the ride. But so another thing I'm impressed about is just the way they have it constructed on the inside. Like the fuel pump kind of sits, even though it has its own sump, it still kind of it's got like a box around it. And it also got like, you know, nice baffling and things like that. So the fuel can flow and stuff like that, though. But majority of the fuel is gonna be sitting around the fuel pump area. So that's a few things that makes it a performance gas tank. So I know when I put this in, I'm kind of excited about getting it installed in the car. I know this right here is gonna fix a couple of issues I have, even though I don't run into those issues often, but you know what I'm saying, under hard acceleration or when making certain turns, you know what I'm saying, I'll be able to, you know, have the performance that I need without, you know what I'm saying, the power intermittently cutting out or whatever. So that's the issue I'm having right now with the stock setup, you know what I'm saying, but that's usually when I run it a little bit lower in fuel. But so I can't wait to get this thing installed. So I did get a hold of the instructions and checking them out. So I gotta read through here to see what kind of fittings I need. So that's one thing. I wish the Aeromotive setup had like your fittings and stuff right here. So I gotta get some fittings ordered up. I might have plugs to go here and here. So these right here can be used as return or vent lines, but I'm pretty much gonna return, my return line is gonna be right here. And so I got that, I already got a similar setup to where I'm running -6 lines, but right now the setup I have on here is a returnless fuel system. So basically, the regulator is built into the fuel pump on that hyper fuel unit. So I'm gonna show you guys and talk about that when I take that tank out. I'll show you some of the differences and some things I gotta do to set this one up. So with this one right here, I gotta run a different style fuel filter, which I actually have it. I had that fuel filter for a while now because I knew that I was gonna be, you know, eventually upgrading to something like this. All right, so I'm gonna read through these instructions and see what type of fittings I need to order to work with that pump setup, and then where I can still like attach a couple -6 fuel line. So this is pretty much like their instructions right here. They kind of tell you in a lot of cases you need to run some longer bolts. I think I already have some slightly longer bolts, but I probably need to go get some that's a little longer. But because you can use your factory straps, but your strap's just not going to go all the way up to the location that the factory ones do. So they recommend a 4-inch bolts, 2 bolts. So I probably go down to Tractor Supply and get some 3/8-16 bolts, and then I got to get a fuel hose. A fuel filler hose, so a 2-inch hose. Summit sells those. I've already looked. They got a few of them for like the tanks and a couple other ones like some repair kits. So they come with the hose and the clamps, because I will have to cut off a section of the filler pipe that's already on that tank and put it right here. So a lot of those performance tanks, kind of, even if you get Tanks Inc. in some cases and some other ones, they kind of recommend that you do that on certain ones. So tell you how to wire up the sending unit. So it's got a GM 90 ohm in there, so that'll work with pretty much all your gauges and stuff like that. 3/8 NPT in the back, and then right there, that's a 1/2-inch NPT. So I'm gonna be blocking these off. I'm gonna be blocking these 3 off. So I may have some pipe plugs laying around. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do now, is just basically plan and get, you know, the parts that I need to order on order, so I can get that bad boy installed. So this right here is a fuel filter. So this right here is an LS1 style fuel filter. Alright, so right now the fuel filter that I have in the car now versus this style right here is a little bit different, but this right here is like a factory Corvette style fuel filter. That's what they would refer to this as. So the unique thing about this fuel filter right here is it has an internal fuel pressure regulator already built inside this fuel filter. So and most of these aftermarket fuel injection systems like the Tech, the Holley Sniper, they all regulate at around 58 psi. So basically, once this thing gets to 58 psi, it'll return the rest of that fuel back to the fuel tank. So it'll return it back. So I'm basically gonna run that return port right here. So and I'll kind of just map out and show you guys like the difference between the type of fuel setup that I have on there now versus this right here. I only got to change. The only basically thing I'm doing to this one is that I'm adding that filter in the place of what my other filter is, and then I'm just gonna be running an extra return line. So the filter is like middle way towards the back of the car, so I just have to run a section of EFI fuel hose with fittings from there to there. So I'll talk about that later. And the other cool thing about this set right here, now I think I got this from like Amazon or eBay. I think it's pretty much just a combination of like a wall barrel or something like that fuel filter. I think it's basically kind of stock style fuel filter, and they have these fittings that go to -6, so you'll be able to like adapt. You know what I'm saying? It makes it more custom to like LS swaps. If you're doing a fuel injection swap or something like that, you can get this right here. So it kind of simplifies the process. So this right here basically pop in there. It's got a few O-rings in there, and you got your this right here will be the part going out that'll go up to your fuel injection system, and then everything else you got your inlet hose, and then you got your return hose. So and you got all these fittings here that are just basically just quick disconnect. That's the other thing, that it's a quick disconnect setup, so you can easily on this side you got to put a tool in there, but basically when you get ready to service this or replace this fuel filter, when you get ready to service the fuel filter, you just replace it. You can just pop these off and pop the new back on, and you even next time around you don't have to, you already got the fitting, so you don't have to get another kit with the fittings unless you just want to. So that's pretty much gonna be it for today's video. Just kind of just going over just trying to get some planning done and see what parts I need to order. So I think I got some fuel fittings around here. I mean those some MPT fittings. So I'm about to look through my stash, and if I do have those fittings, I can go ahead and get those holes plugged. But then I just gotta see what as far as those fittings that they require for this Aeromotive, and they actually got them right here. I think the way they do it, the reason, just me looking through these instructions, the reasons that they don't include the fittings is because there's so many guys running different applications, and just to make this thing more universal, they rather just tell you what fittings you need. Because some people are running -8, they're running like a flare fitting or whatever. So you get all this stuff listed here. So that's that. So I guess yep, that's gonna wrap it up for today. So I kind of got an idea of what I need to order, and then once those parts get in, when it's a nice I'm trying to debate whether I'm gonna try out whether I'm gonna do that job here in the garage, or either I need to just kind of pull it out there for a little bit, jack it up. I don't know, because I do need to get access to the fuel filter that I got in there and stuff like that. So I'll see. But we'll check you guys out on the next time. I'm gonna go ahead and get these parts ordered up. Thank you guys for checking out Cool Fred's Garage. So if you appreciate some of the, especially on the classic stuff, because when I'm working on the classic or old school stuff, like if you appreciate me taking the time out to, show you some of the stuff I'm working on. And I know some of this stuff is like one-off, like it's only like, a few people, that's gonna be talking about stuff like this, unless they're, getting ready for the Rick Ross car show or something like that. You might see them showing things like this, but if y'all appreciate me showing some of this type content, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So we'll catch you next time on Cool Fred's Garage. Peace.